Hi, I'm Michael Owen and I'm thrilled to join Weeks as their global brand ambassador. In football, success comes from precision, speed and strategy. Every move matters. With 1,000 plus trading pairs, you can trade spot, futures and more. And security? Weeks leads the way with Plus, a 1,000 Bitcoin protection fund. Join me on Weeks, where new wealth is made.
Hi everybody, it's Adrian Zdunchuk, CMT, Charter Market Technician, CryptoBirb, and welcome to the grand closing of our 7th edition of the Trading Congress. This is our famous annual virtual trade camp designed for traders to, well, help them ease a little bit of the difficulties, that they had throughout the entirety of the year. And this year has been extremely difficult. It has been absolute dog shit of the market, frankly speaking, for so many people who joined. They're extremely disappointed that they have all the rights to do so. However, what really matters is that they got hurt. They lost a lot of money in this market, and it's very difficult to make it back, especially with the prognosis for 2026 being the actual bear market, which basically means it's likely going to get even worse, way worse than most of the people would expect and really want. And, well, there are tools, there are toolkits, there are strategies, there are people, and the actual profitable guidance that I'm putting on the table on behalf of mine, on behalf of the entire team of the Burbness that we've been doing, giving the guidance, the profitable guidance to the people with proven track record over the last 8-9 years. This is proven. Not me saying that. There are a lot of people saying this, and just go ahead and search for credits. I'm going to spot a lot of those very positive testimonials. So without further ado, I want to welcome you to the closing session, to the very last session of our Trading Congress. This whole week was filled with a lot of education, with pro traders, with OGs in the market, people who have skin in the game, people who are professional money managers, fund managers, people who are professional algorithmic traders, as well as the godfathers of the frameworks built in the markets decades ago. So it's truly undeniably incredible opportunity, and you've taken part of that, and congratulations to everybody who's watched at least one of a show, because putting your time and putting your effort is exactly what matters. I want to also thank you. Big massive thanks and credits go to our partners and sponsors for this edition of Trading Congress, to Ajax as well as Weeks Exchange, because both of them contributed to making this free experience for everybody, and they left some very nice gifts and bonuses for joining. So make sure that you check the video description for all of them. Without further ado, the grand closing is a time for a little bit of a retrospection, is a time for just taking a step back, looking at what really happened over the last couple of days. And it's true, we had an incredible, enormous amount of, the value of really education that is profitable, that is proven, that is reliable. Because otherwise there are so many bad actors, there are so many impersonators, so many fake scammy, guru influencers who are telling you to go short, then they're doing the exactly opposite, when buying with all their power, then they're telling you to go long, and they're shorting with all the power because they're using you as the exit liquidity. That's what really happens. This is the vast majority of this absolute carnage of the market, and a lot of bad actors in the space. So you have to be extremely careful not to step on a minefield, because it's very difficult to get out of these muddy waters. I've been there, I've done that, I've lost millions, I got hacked, robbed, scammed. People that I truly trusted, my friends, stole money from me and ran away, and I never heard back from them. And it all happened over the last 8 years, to an extent that I've learned what works and what doesn't. And ever since I started my CMT journey, leading to me being the only CMT in Poland out of 40 million people and counting, well, that really gives me a little bit of perspective and liability, responsibility to send the elevator down. And that's exactly what I'm doing, and why I'm doing the 7th edition of the Trading Congress. And that's exactly why I'm going to do the 8th edition and the 9th and 10th, and so on and so forth, because I'm building a legacy of reliable traders, of reliable data access, because we believe, as the Burbnest, we believe that the world should have a place, a safe space for people to get financial access. We believe in a world where financial access, financial knowledge is accessible and available for everybody, everywhere, regardless where they're from, regardless what race they are, what sex they are, regardless whether they are from a rich country, from a poor country, from a big country, for a small country. Every single person on planet Earth deserves fair shot, fair access at financial knowledge. Some of them are going to be working hard to get access to the financial freedom, because if you put in an effort, if you go ahead and have read on all of those piles of books, well, then actually you may learn something. And just like Warren Buffett says, the best investment you can make is investment in yourself, because the more you learn, the more you will learn. So I invite you to take a next 10, 20, 15 minutes and go along with me for this journey over the last day, summarizing the 7th edition of the Trading Congress. So without further ado, the biggest mistakes versus the biggest wins is something that I have on my map for now. And biggest mistakes and biggest wins. The biggest mistakes I've seen, and I've accomplished while interacting with people, while speaking with the community, seeing what many of the Congress participants say, what many of the struggles that they share. Well, in the end, is that they joined early this year, that they joined into something that they were expecting to be absolutely great opportunity, because they were frankly speaking a lot of bullish factors, right? At the beginning of the year, the meme coins craze was absolutely crazy. That Trump coin was released, 2 days before Trump's inauguration came into place. The Melania coin, the Milei coin, that marked, in retrospective, that marked the peak or top of the meme coin cycle. All right, and yet there are a lot of people trapped, with a lot of heavy underwater backs that basically have nowhere to liquidate them, because there's no liquidity, there's no buyers, there's no buying interest, and even more so, even if there's buying interest, there are no buyers, simply because the conditions are not good, right? So even if the shitcoins were not taken off the exchange and there's still an opportunity to buy it, people have run out of money because they were joining in something that was seemingly a last year of the bull market, and as a result, they are 10-15% down today. All right. However, in the peak time, they were actually 30% up for a moment, as we kicked off the year with about 95, 93K, as far as I can recall, all the way up to 126K. So those people who actually followed what we were saying at the Burbness, what I was saying, what I was giving, my countdown posts, on Twitter, famously, and so on. Now, when I counted down, I said, hey guys, I'm gonna do a proper countdown, cycle, peak, up, down, countdown, 60, 70 days, 60 days, every 10 days, basically until day zero. And well, guess what? The market crashed after. And there's proof online. It's not me saying this. Go ahead, search it. You're going to find a whole bunch of text and reasons saying Bitcoin is 97%. Bitcoin cycle is 99% complete. Bitcoin cycle is 100% complete. And then the market crashed. All right. And it's not me guessing. It's me using facts. The only reliable data asset that we have, that we can make any sort of slightest predictions, because making predictions is guessing. However, you can make your guess educated. You can make your guess mathematized. You can use maths in your favor, because if you have a 50% odd for guessing, well, it's not arguably the best one. You're going to have as many wins as many losses, right? If you play and flip a coin, for instance. But if you even give yourself a chance to make it a 51 against 49, you're going to be profitable. And getting reliable data access, getting reliable information, education, softwares, indicators, strategies, opinions from people who have skin in the game, from people who have been here for many years, is something that is extremely irreplaceably difficult to get in this space, because there's a lot of bullshit flying all around, let's face it, right? So the worst trading error that many people entered throughout not only this year, but also the cycle that I encounter, many people say that and witness, is basically investing in meme coins, right? Following scammy ass influencers that pull them in, basically said, buy the top, it's going to go more fatter, it's going to, and now it's 37% down. Now people are liquidated. Now we had gone through the worst liquidation cascade in history, that was 12 times worse than FTX on 10th of October. All right. On that night, I was actually, celebrating the party. There was my birthday party. I invited a couple of people, some of them mostly were not crypto folks, but I invited some crypto folks as well. And all of a sudden we were having fun, and people come back, come to me, put a phone in my face, basically saying like, hey, have you seen what's happening with crypto? And I'm opening up basically my my TradingView access, right? Shout out to TradingView, incredible people. I'm opening about TradingView access and I see Chainlink $9. All right. And I'm like, Bitcoin is $109, $1,000. Chainlink is 9. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And since I had been cashing out actively from July, where I highlighted about 20 times, reminded 20 times ever since this year started that I will be leaving crypto in July through entirety of the Q3, something that I did only because of that I could basically enjoy, chill out, and continue to celebrate my birthday party because I had the peace of mind. I cashed at the top several times. And there are a lot of people, there are a lot of witnesses. My grandma held Bitcoin. I sold Bitcoins for my grandma. She was holding Bitcoin from 33,000 from July dip on 2021. And I sold her in 18th July. I think it was 18th or 19th July when Bitcoin was $119,000, something like that, right? And I did it several times, right? So in the end, you can use muffs in your favor. You can use technical analysis in your favor. It is academically, scientifically, historically, financially confirmed that technical analysis works. But you have to find a way, a reliable way to use it. Because if you try to randomly throw some random RSI charts and ATR charts and go and have fun on 1 millisecond time frame and go turbo long and turbo short every 5 seconds, I promise it's not going to work. But it's not the methodology is wrong. It's your methodology, your application of this methodology is off. If someone teaches you maths at primary school and they say 2 plus 2 equals 4, but you write mistakenly that 2 plus 2 equals 5, then it's not that the maths doesn't work. The reason you got an F on your paper is not because the math sucks. It's because you suck. And it's not until you own it up and man up and grow up to admit our faults and mistakes. And it's only until you have accepted your own mistake that you can truly move on and move forward and get better. All right. So I invite you to open up your mind as well, because having committed a lot of mistakes, having blown up millions of dollars myself, having sold off cheap a lot of bags, multiple 10x, 100x runners at the very absolute peak of bottom that I was stopped out of the position because I was setting stops, not carefully enough, for instance, or I slipped my finger or something, or the stop loss didn't work. I had so many of those cases, right? That over the time, I had learned basically to use technical analysis on an accredited level as the only CMT in my country to set the right example and to say that it works. It proves it works. You can really make money on top of it. So the importance of proper education, if you think about it, I'm qualified to say that. Unlike the vast majority of the people in this space, I'm actually qualified and certified to say that there are more than 3,000 people, not much more than 3,000 people on Earth with this CMT credential. Now, I'm the only one in the country, which is a lot of responsibility to put the expectations bar very, very high, because we need to focus on really what works, such as, for instance, confirming that technical analysis works. Let's say you want to buy an RSI every time it gets 75 in the upward direction after getting off the overbought area. From it reached 85, now it dipped 67, and you want to buy into C75, which is a little bit of a reset and a potential price action breakout up anticipated, right? So imagine this is this, and you want to guess, you want to back this and see, okay, what would have happened, the simulation, what would have happened in the past if I kept on doing this, exactly the same strategy methodology, and now for my trading, for this particular asset, for this particular market, if I had done this basically for the entirety of the history, for instance, right? And using backtesting, using reliable data, common sense, like a sound premise, for instance, it wouldn't make sense to continue to short something forever simply because, the shorting potential is limited. You cannot go down more than 100%, right? But guess what? It can go up more than 100%. It can go up more than 200%, more than 10,000%, more than million%. So the upside is unlimited. So if you focus your entire network, for instance, on doing something as silly as shorting every single day of the bull market, well, it's not necessarily based on a sound premise, right? So following the trend following methodology is something that is confirmed that it works. And even though I myself, as a trend follower, and I had the portfolio side, for buy and hold that I didn't bother to sell until July. And I bought publicly at 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, 33,000, 40,000, 49, 51,000, apologies. A multiple of those occasions, I was using technical analysis. So it is not true that you cannot predict the future. You can predict the future by simply guessing, closing your eyes, blindfolding yourself, and guessing. And sometimes you're going to be right, but it's not about being sometimes right. It's about trying to have an educated, mathematized guess that is accurate. Because if there is accuracy, this accuracy with a proportion of profit on top of it, it's going to make you shitloads of money. Myself and any other trend follower, and myself, I'm a trend follower that is following the breakout. So I'm a breakout trend follower, breakout trader, if you will, that filters the breakout with the means of the ATR, right, of the variation of the ATR. My methodology is called Barbicator Pro, the B Pro, and there's the whole setup of the B Pro custom indicators, such as the trend lines and the CTF and the high time frame trailer, the trailers that continue to move up or down, tracking the bull market or the bear market trend, giving the basically leave points, right? The profit securing points, except that it's not taking profit per se. It's not profit taking points, not profit taking points. It's the stop loss points. So the job of a trend follower is to continue to run the trend, rally with the trend as long as it moves up. Don't cart on short on then catchers the trend short. Don't trim your positions as it moves up. All right, you actually need to secure yourself, because if there's a trend, these trends tend to continue to go fire, like better, higher, faster. It goes up in spirals way faster than many people would expect, and those spirals, those crowd madness that people continue to buy, those madness of crowds that happened with gold, that happened basically in late September, early October. So in the end, people have the power, and if they use this power without brain, they become a part of a mass movement. And this mass movement, on the contrarianism basis, is more often wrong in the extremes than not. So if you see every single person clueless, with no experience, no diploma, no education, no experience, this is their first day on a crypto market, first month, and all of them are basically piling up in front of the door to buy gold, guess what? It's a peak top signal. All right, if that happens, that I had a situation, with all due respect, that a Catholic priest approached me to aid, to explain crypto to them, simply because there was that they had a very good reason to help their member of the family, right, without going too much into the detail. Very commendable cause to help financially their family and stuff. I understand that. However, when ultimately people with no experience come to me, and the bigger number of those people come to me and ask me those questions, who never did that before, ultimately this amasses to a fact that there is a rush, that there is euphoria, there is something telling all of them independently to come and do crypto. And that's exactly the peak of the market. So that's exactly what happened for the peak of the bull market as well. And so in the end, you have that, right? So it is important to find your own shelter. It is important to find a profitable guide for the whole thing. The one wish that I have, many people had otherwise, is that I had my own mentor. I really would have loved to have my own mentor, simply because it would be easy. It would have been so much easier to just receive information like, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Like, this would have saved me millions of dollars. I didn't have it. I didn't have a person like that. I didn't have anybody to clash my ideas against. As a reason, I lost millions on the process. But you don't have to lose millions, because you have participated in the trading bootcamp. You have participated in the virtual trading congress. You have participated in the free 30-day recovery program right before leading into the congress. So there's a whole bunch of people, the hundreds of people, who got free help that is reliable, accredited, profitable, with proven track record. No idiots inside, no trolls allowed. All idiots are basically weeded out. We weed them out very carefully. We do not allow any dirty movements and mavericks, basically gimmicks, inside of the Burbness community, because I do personally know and respect those people who are coming and knocking on the door to come into the Burbness. All right, and it is extremely meaningful, and they are taking their time. They are putting their own hard-earned money with anything that's left. They are hurt and they have nowhere to go. They search for a place that they can trust. They search for a place that they have gonna get different opinions, that they're gonna get learn early access, that are gonna get beginner friendly explanations, different market reports, profitable strategies, proven backtested working, instead of doing exactly the mistakes that I did. Instead of burning hundreds, thousands, tens and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars worth of mistakes. So good thing is that you don't have to suffer this because, well, guess what? Today's Cyber Monday. So yeah, you can get 30% off properly. And well, all you need to do is to go wop.com/theburbness, and this with the code CM2025. Check out with the code CM2025. And it's literally going to save you 30% for any monthly, 3-month, or yearly sub. It's something that I encourage you guys to check it out. And there are a lot of reasons to go and try this out. Basically take a look at this from click. This is anonymous. However, we do know that person. And they said, I've been part of the Burbness community for a while now. I can honestly say it's one of the best trading groups out there. The team is extremely professional, shares top-tier trade ideas to live trading sessions. Their reports are always on point. Trading view indicator they offer, which is the BPRO, is fantastic. It's become an essential tool in my trading arsenal. So there is not only this, right? There's a lot more. Plan BDC says with a 5-star rating. The course is super helpful. We do have courses, by the way. Very well organized courses from a beginner to a pro. It has improved my understanding of how liquidity works in trading. Now trade less, and have learned to position my stop loss more strategically. Very well done. Run Trader here. No doubt the Burbness is one of the best in this industry. A lot of professional traders with high and great mindset never get tired of sharing reliable information. I fully congratulate to you of saying that, because it means you've been there. I mean, you see what we do, and it's very well done. Erika says, I've been with the nest for the 2 years, and I believe joining them was the best decision of my trading life. I've started watching BC Richfield. Shout out to BC. Market reviews and educational videos, and thanks to his high-level teaching and professionalism, I'm a trader today. I'm on my way to trading all the markets. Well, congratulations, Erika. Mass have absolutely the best tool you could ever need in trading. I've been using continuously for the 5th year. It was a lifetime option. I would definitely consider it. This is without a doubt the best trading community you can join. The expert team at the Burbness and our own inspiring. Kyer J says, as I am still going through the whole product, the support that the team provides timely is unmatched. All right. There's a whole bunch of more user D, and there's a whole candle. Unbelievable, great community, shitload of knowledge, brainstorming when needed, psychological support. If you want to be a better trader, you must be here. 100% approved. And well, like I said, some of them actually joined last year with Cyber Monday. So 30% off. Use the code CM2025 wop.com/theburbness. We're going to make sure that the video description is filled with those links. And at the same time, that is going to get you comment in the X if you're watching that on X under our post. So what I definitely need to let you know, guys, is that not only a lot of people joined the Burbness throughout our career. This is the 8th year, the soon 9th year. Actually, we are going to have celebrate the full 8-year birthday. It's already my 9th year, and so will have been 10 full 9 years. And ever since I joined, I've seen a lot. I've seen everything. I've seen miners capitulations. I've seen the absolute best of the alt seasons, the real alt seasons, the face melting alt seasons, when every asset that you hold goes 10x in the matter of like 2-3 weeks. I've seen that. I've seen people become absolute multimillionaires with 10 figures on the account. I've seen people do this. I've seen people literally go, like retire with shitloads of money. They retired their entire family, secured the wealth, and just play golf for most of the time they're retired. Crypto is really a great place to be, provided that you know how to answer your psychological needs, right? Because it is also a roller coaster. On one hand, it can be successful only if you can make it be successful. So many people, on the other hand, continue to fall into absolute depression. They never accepted their losses. They continue to be miserable. They continue to be those keyboard warriors that are gonna, always be unhappy about whatever happens. And I'm not even mentioning, some of the bots, that are targeting my account, or many other of my friends that are fake accounts, basically impersonators, just targeting their accounts, just having thousands of bots flooding the comments and just saying, some bullshit, spreading lies. I'm talking about every single project, every single company in the Web3 and crypto space. They come and go. And at the same time, they have the community, right? And only if they have strong leadership from the community side, and the community is healthy, is well taken care of, with a lot of tips, with a lot of value, just like we do with the Burbness, providing free access to reliable trading information, reliable financial education, financial literacy courses, and so on. Then you need to keep your community happy, right? And by opening up our doors to come and invite as many people to come and bear as much knowledge as they can handle, regardless if they continue to stay with us for a year, regardless if or they choose to, okay, let's say, listen, I'm not a good fit, I appreciate all the value. People like that also happen. However, in the end, vast majority of the people who ever come and interact with the Burbness over the last 8 years show me another group chat, show me another trading community, show me another project, company in the Web3 that stays for so long, so reliably. And a little bit of a glimpse, the Burbness grows about 15% every month, 15, 20%, 30%. We had better months, we have worse months. We continue to outperform like 99.5% businesses, not only in Web3, in the whole world, simply because the biggest banks, Silicon Valley Bank, exploded. Terra Luna exploded. No one remembers about them. Meme coins exploded. Companies exploded. Law firms exploded. Economies are exploding. The Burbness is still here, resilient, growing, gradually, steadily, surely. So the longevity of that is a whole proven track record on its own. There's a whole bunch of evidence. And then there's an incredible amount of, like I said, people who have been with us, who have seen basically what we do, and they see that it was worth it. So again, don't just take my word for it. Just observe the facts, right? Don't focus on what the scammy fake ass influencers are going to tell you up there on Twitter, that most of them never disclose any information. We disclose every single information about our partnerships, about our partners, about our friends, the project's investments. When I invested in some project, I immediately tell you, not only because I think it's real, and it's really necessary for me being too transparent, but also because it's legally required, also by the MiCA regulations in European Union. If you do not disclose the information, and on top of that, as a CMT, I can lose my license for not disclosing the hidden interest, because this is a natural hidden conflict of interest, right? If you hold a position and if you say something bullish about it and you do not disclose that you're holding this, basically it is considered illegal. So a lot of scammy influencers are going to be in big trouble. A lot of people that you're probably following on X that really spread a lot of lies and spread a lot of bullshit, basically, and they never disclose any information. Here are the very first words I invited you guys to welcoming partners and sponsors at Weeks, at incredible people I know from myself, as well as the Ajax, incredible people that I know myself as well, right? So only proven reliable, only proven ecosystem of the whole value of the education, of the community sense, of community gatherings, events just like this one. It is a whole proof. The fact that I'm recording this grand closing is a proof on its own that I really care for you, everybody. I've made it already. I don't have to work for the rest of my life. I've retired a lot of my family members. They don't have to work anymore, right? But I choose to do so because that's my liability. I see value in teaching. I see value in sending the elevator down. It's my mission to equip you with all the best leading tools that you can handle, with all the best education that you can handle, with all the best access to indicator strategies and so on, because that's my liability. That's my responsibility to send the elevator down. I've made it. I want to spread away and open the door for a lot of people to make it so be as well, because that's my way. That's my mission of spreading the gospel here. That's my way also to propagating, I'm Catholic, to propagating the belief in the faith in Jesus. In the end, me being Catholic, by doing good things to the people, I'm doing good things to Jesus as well, right? That's what Jesus says in Bible. So in the end, shout out to Jesus, everybody. In the end, there is a lot of mission fulfillment that I'm doing. There's a whole mission that I'm on as a lone CMT in my country. So risk management as well is something that you want to handle. And we have a lot of courses on risk management inside of the Burbness. community. There's a lot of whole bunch of threads and articles, incredible people on our team, such as Kazim, who's our fundamental analysis master, absolute pro, spotting early gems and so on, that a lot of our community have got the very early access to. In the end, for getting the information is something that we do. We put the information on the table. What you do with this information, it's your whole bunch of a problem, right? We don't take your money. We don't manage your money. We're not a fund. We don't have a fund license, even though I'm part of a Swiss hedge fund, or I'm a part of a Swiss hedge fund that I'm actually working with on a strategic level, and so on. So we do have within the Burbness ecosystem, we do have tools for onboarding big AOM and big clients as well. However, that's not my purpose. My purpose is to be reliable and to be real with everybody who's watching this video. And well, before I mumble myself to death and yourself, I already appreciate that you're sticking with me, that you've been here for, like I said, almost 9 years with me. It's been an absolute journey, and I think of that there's a whole bunch of many years to come as well. Next year, like I said, is going to be a lot of prognosis for the downside. The bull market isn't really looking like it's going to run up anytime soon. It does seem there are a lot of bearish factors, such as the time spent on a 200-day moving average, that is the whole month spent below the 200-day moving average, which is flattening out. The whole bull market trend is not rising anymore. It's basically confirming with delay that something that we already know. With a 37% price percentage travel distance, it's already too big to make it any not meaningful correction. It is the biggest correction that we've seen this cycle. Now, it is also the lowest, most oversold Bitcoin conditions in over 2 years, since August 2023. However, many people get it backwards, because if we have the actual Bitcoin chart, and there's an oversold, well, the RSI means the up days compares the up days versus the down days. So if there is momentum decreasing, it means that the adapted down days are stronger than the up days. So Bitcoin reaching the absolute low over 2 years means that the bears are strongest they've been in 2 years, and over 2 years. The bears are strongest they've been this cycle. And then you have the ATR proof, the confluent with that, with a new trend emergence and so on. So you have a whole bunch of technical proof and evidence that we're in the early stage of the bear market. And next year, it matches perfectly for the calendar bear market, such as by people such as, Jeffrey Hirsch, who's been bringing this, also absolute alpha to us with the projections for the next year. He's the godfather of seasonal studies. He himself and his father set up the foundations for seasonal analysis in trading markets. All right. This is the people that have come to help you. This is the people that we invited to come and get you as much knowledge as you can handle. So if you watch this, congratulations. If you haven't watched this, make sure you go check it out on our YouTube at The Burbness, and you're gonna also appreciate it even more. So in the end, before I wrap, I want to highlight that intuition, the gut feeling, is the worst enemy that you can have. I know very, very few people, and maybe one person out of all the people that I know, that is a very good intuition reader. However, for the vast majority of the people, if they continue on betting on their getting lucky, and betting a lot of money on they're getting lucky, and then trying to revenge train that, putting even more money on the table on stake just to get lucky, to win a lottery, to assume something incredibly unlikely is going to happen. Then instead of reading facts, they ignore all the facts. They put it in trash. They say, no, none of that happened. I have my opinion. I'm going to stick with it. Well, guess what? Those people lose 99% of everything. All right, they blow up their trading accounts. This is the vast majority of the people. This is the people that lose and sell at the absolute lows, or they got wiped out in the market and never come back. This is really the reality. So on one hand, you have a lot of people who have incredible success because they put discipline, they put the financial knowledge, they put all the sweat currency, if you will, the sweat capital that they brought into the table that made them be here for long enough to experience and expose themselves to catching those opportunities, catching those big rounders, to being early in those, massive gems. However, not doing that, you're never going to get there, right? So the only way to do this is to be present, is to show up every day, is to wake up every day, be disciplined, get knowledge, get better, improve every day. And I guarantee that you're going to get there, right? It's just a matter of time, as long as you put in the work, the discipline. And Warren Buffett, like I said, I keep bringing this quote back. He said that the best investment you can make, and this guy is almost, over. Like, this guy led an incredibly professional, profitable Berkshire Hathaway fund that was absolutely most sought after. They were not even open to collecting capital anymore, for the Series A stock. So in the end, you have a lot of incredible people confirming that the education, if you invest in education, you're gonna get places. And this is your place. This is your opportunity to invest in education. I invite you to go ahead and check the Cyber Monday deal before it expires. Cyber Monday deal means it's on Monday. It expires today. It's gonna expire. We're gonna take it down in a couple of hours. We want to be true to our word. So it's gonna disappear. And your job, if you want to stay with us, you've seen what we're capable of. You're gonna get 30% off only until today, before today expires. CM 2025, that's the code. So go ahead and check whoop.com at the Burbnest / the Burbnest, and you're gonna get you 30% discount. And before I go, I want to leave you with something as a food for thought. Right, one time I had a discussion with big traders, with many of my traders who made it. Some of them are incredibly big personas in the end, right? I'm talking here, for instance, like a person like a Gary Cardone, Grant Cardone. Those are the people who are billionaires. Those are the people who have skin in the game. Those are the people who are 65, 67. I didn't even know anymore. Incredibly smart people, and they are the people who always repeat, that it's fair to bounce questions at somebody. It's fair to have someone to ask them questions. It's fair, and that's what you should do, basically, to come around and ask people. Find someone smarter than you. Find someone who's going to give you some value. Find someone who's been here on Earth, walking on Earth, way longer than you have. And in the end, ask them questions. Ask them questions about wisdom. The reality is that most of the people are too lazy to pick it up. And being lazy, in the end, it's a sin, right? It's a sin in our codex of morality or moral compass. So being lazy is an actual deliberate missing of opportunities, and deliberate missing of opportunities to make money in order to make goodness, spread goodness, for instance, is a sin, because there is a whole bunch of goodness, whole bunch of people, whole bunch of families that it could help, whole bunch of reasons and good causes and animal shelters, like we did, helping the parrots, the Burbnest. So we helped the parrots, sanctuaries in Arizona, it's called Dales back in the day. By doing and getting the financial knowledge, you're gonna get to financial freedom. If you sprinkle that with discipline, or actually put it on a discipline, the most disciplined person is always gonna outwork talent. The talent is just 10-20% of the success. That's what the veterans, people like Cardones, people like those people that I'm gonna keep them nameless for now, for the safety and security and protection. Though in the end, there are a lot of rich people, and all of them continue to say the same exact thing: educate, invest in yourself, be disciplined, continue to exposing yourself for opportunities, say yes to opportunities. And if you keep on doing this, you're gonna get those 100x runners. You're gonna get those, massive gains. You're gonna get those peak and bottom calls. In the end, you're gonna sell the top and buy the bottom. In the end, but maybe not the pico top. But what doesn't matter if you buy the pico top, buy the pico bottom, or sell the pico top? It doesn't matter, right? Because like if you do 99.9%, it's almost as good as 100%, and it's completely irrelevant, because this 0.1% can be easily just forgotten in some fees or so it doesn't matter. So in the end, only by exposing yourself to opportunities like this one, like Trading Congress, like being invited to join the Burbnest at a 30% discount, only then you can give yourself a chance and a fair shot and a financial freedom, because you deserve that, and it's your job to pick it up. So with that in mind, I want to close this 7th edition of our Trading Congress. It's been an absolute pleasure for me hosting these sessions for the 7th time. It's been many years we kicked it off. We're going to continue doing this. Huge shout out to all of our partners and guests and my incredible team at the Burbnest and the community. There were a lot of people working behind the scenes, basically, that you never saw existed, but they did contributed a lot to making this happen. Shout out to Weeks and shout out to Edix for partnering and sponsoring this edition of Free Trading Congress that made it possible for you to be free and witness all this incredible, enormous amount of value for free. What can I say, everybody? I've been your host, Adrian Zdunchik, CMT, Chart Market Technician. See you inside the Burbnest. You deserve a shot at financial freedom.